valuable time despite difficult times. And most of the times, most of the people mentioning that please stay up. But thank you very much, very nice listening and experiencing the technical stacks and listening and missing to make us as success. Thank you, sir. The department is always undertaking, and we look forward for many more cooperation. Thank you very much. And equally, I can be dynamically former principal. Mr. Vyapara really is a nice and gentleman. He is a gentleman and good services. Online education or physical education, and really with your help, cooperation, time to time cooperation, definitely we hope so that many more webinars or seminars will be conducted as a principal directions will be opted from you time to time. Thank you for helping us and running this organization. Many more in future. I equally have the country sake of really is a man behind the show. With his help, and one person behind the screen, Barla Srinivas, each a person, each generation player, each generation so much of also kind of things. Really, exactly technical and with this, I can mention that we are going to be ending the inaugural function immediately after this. I request that it is clear and all please give the link to the paper budget website audience, and Sandirani will entire coordinate and conduct 10 papers, out of the 10 papers, so that at least 5 papers can better they can present, and after that definitely we may have a good day with any technical stack is there, kind of weaknesses, we are apologizing, any mistakes are just ignoring, and it is our first in the department, definitely will rectify and we'll see that uninterrupted webinar will be conducted in contemporary topic and comments. Thank you very much, sir.
Respected Principal of the College and Webinar Director, Professor D. Chennappa, Dean Faculty of Commerce, Professor V. Apparao, Head Department of Commerce and Chairman Board of Studies, Professor T. Krishnakumar, Professor Prashant Atma, former Head, Professor Usha Kiran, Director, ICSSR, SRC, our esteemed Chief Guest of today's webinar, Professor V. Venkataramana, Vice Chairman at Telangana State Council for Higher Education, Senior Retired Professor of the Department, Professor H. Venkateshwarlu, the lead convener of the program, Dr. Indrakanti Shekhar, Vice Principal of the College, Dr. Vidyasagar Rao, Assistant Registrar, Mr. Balakrishna, members of the staff, students, and our dearest delegates desirous of becoming tech-savvy teachers of the future. It is our privilege It is a privilege to extend a warm welcome to all our participants. Every humankind has confronted a challenge. They have always found a way to overcome it. The current COVID-19 pandemic is one such. The deadly virus has unified humans irrespective of color, creed, race, caste, and wealth. We realize how damaging human ambitions are. The lockdown, shut institutions, and social distancing norms that we follow today have been countered gracefully by teachers like us because we have realized that we need to hone skills that will enable us to embrace technology. In a country like ours, where education is inaccessible and still considered to be a luxury, the universities that offer online education are the answer. Online teaching will enable us to reach out to the least, the lost, and the left out. The second pressing need is having to reach out to our students while being socially distanced. It is the need of the hour for the teachers to grow wise at this moment. Since the COVID-19 pandemic has caused educational institutions worldwide to go online, they are back again with this online mode of education. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome the digital learning fraternity amidst us, teachers from various colleges and universities, especially those from other states, and our online viewers of this webinar on digital learning. Department of Commerce, Osmania University is here offering you a platform to discuss and ignite a revolution. To set the ball rolling, let us now invite the paper writers to share their presentations. Every participant will be given 4 minutes time to share their presentation. I request the participants to request the stipulated time. May I now invite the first participant of the webinar, the first participant of the session, Dr. Kasturi Srinivas. He will be presenting on the topic on active learning strategies, improves online teaching and learning. I invite Dr. Kasturi Srinivas. Dr. Kasturi Srinivas. I request the paper presenter to introduce yourself.
Hello. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Andy. Evaru maatladedi? You please introduce yourself.
Sir, Kasturi Srinivas, sir, myself.
మీ వీడియో అన్మ్యూట్ చేయండి. మీ వీడియో కనబడట్లేదు. కస్తూరి శ్రీనివాస్ గారు, మీకు 3 minutes టైం అండి. 1 minute ఏమో డిస్కషన్. యూ కెన్ స్టార్ట్ ప్రజెంటింగ్. యూ కెన్ ప్రజెంట్ సార్. రైట్, నవ్ ఇట్స్ లుకింగ్. కస్తూరి శ్రీనివాస్ గారు, స్టార్ట్ చేయండి.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. My topic is active learning strategies and its improves online teaching. This course, it is a real incredible popular way for students and teachers to advance their education and professional development. Teaching an online course requires different methods from the traditional classroom to this flipped classroom. It's important that the teachers adapt to develop their skills to the online learning environment. Make their material effective and engaging for learners. My paper focuses 5 general and 4 active learning strategies in this online learning system. This methodology, it can be implemented to teaching in the Make e-learning course successful experience for teachers and learners. So traditional formal education is based upon a paradigm generally called this knowledge reproduction model. This method is totally used for printed handouts, drill and practice methods. The major online techniques are it is one classroom flipping. So the second aspect is mind mapping, self-learning and instructional design, adaptive learning will be considered for classroom oriented. This method involves utilizing computers and other technologies like viable teaching devices. This may mean providing different media like video and text visuals. the major I told you regarding 5 strategies, it is required for a teacher. Nowadays, the majority, the teachers are going for online only. Fortunately or unfortunately, for the past 3.5 months, we are online in Telangana due to lockdown. So we have conducted several classes. So every teacher, they need to learn a little techniques and strategies. So, yeah, the first and the sense, first of all, engage with your learners online. This is major important strategy. Let students know what days or time frames you will be online and how they can contact you outside of those hours. Engage with your learning community through online posts, social media. Yeah. Yes, and also similarly, the create a good supportive learning environment. Yeah, there is a scope to have an opportunity to create a really supportive and community for learners. It will leads to, at the start of online course, get the ball rolling with a personal introduction post and create an open forum and set up small groups. Yeah, so right. We need to create the proper encouraging and good environment, learning environment to support the students. At the same time, use a mix of learning tools for better engagement.
You can conclude, sir. Last minute.
Yeah, this is and the provider at the same time for every teacher is required this ongoing feedback. The feedback is really it is essential component of all effective learning environments. As an online teacher, you must the take feedback will help to create a good learning e-learning experience. That is informative, engaging, and based on that, it is constructive feedback offered to you possible so that the students can clearly identify which behavior or skill needs to be improved. And finally, the fifth strategy, make e-learning content mobile. It's wise to acknowledge the importance of mobile learning for online teachers. With students and employees now are teachers, really it is using their mobile device for learning. Nowadays, the majority, 90%, it is, 90% of people are using for mobile device, and it is a necessity that see that mobile learning holds the key advantage for learners, allowing them to access up-to-date course material and relevant content anywhere.
సార్ శ్రీనివాస్ గారు టైం అయిపోయిందండి. యూ ప్లీజ్ కంక్లూడ్ విత్ వన్ వర్డ్.
Yeah, finally, finally, I would like to conclude, sir, with your permission. I'm sorry. My major important aspect, the 5 strategies will encourage learners to work together as an active learning community, which brings benefits to all individuals involved. The literature suggests that one of the biggest advantages of web-based course is that they provide anytime and anywhere learning. This is a major important concluding. This is provide anytime and anywhere learning. Pedagogy of online courses active learning strategies. Implementing these strategies might not lead to the anytime and anywhere futures of web-based courses.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. As suggested by Kasturi Srinivas, teachers can adopt various online teaching techniques. Thank you, sir. Teachers can adopt various teaching techniques such as classroom flipping, mind mapping, self-learning, instructional design, and adaptive learning. And he concluded saying that the biggest advantages of the web-based courses is that they can provide anytime and anywhere learning. Now, thank you, sir, for sharing your views. Now we move on to the second paper presenter on the topic entitled A Study on Digital Learning. I invite Nikita Shekhar to give her presentation. Nikita Shekhar on a study on digital learning.
Hello.
Yeah, you can start, madam. Only 3 minutes.
Can I share my PPT?
Yeah, you can.
Okay. So,
But it will be time restricted, madam. You please follow the time.
yeah, sure.
You can start now.
Yeah. Hello, one and all, and good afternoon. My topic is a study on digital learning. So let us start first. Introduction of digital learning. What is digital learning? In simple terms, if we say digital learning means digital education, it is an instructional practice that effectively use technology to strengthen the experience of students. Now, when we say experience, it is about the learning experience of the students. Okay, so it is not something which is out of wall. In India, we can say it is a new topic. But if we compare ourselves from other Western countries, they have adopted this digital learning long back itself. So, now, coming to importance of digital learning, it has a lot more importance as it has a global connection. Now, when we say global connection, it means that a person from any place around the globe can connect digitally and learn anything that he wants to learn. Now, second thing is that it saves a lot of time. Now, when we say if it saves a lot of time, it means, suppose an example, a classroom session is of 1 hour. The student need to travel to and fro for 2 hours. So he can save those 2 hours and can use it for future something productive. And the teaching also become very smooth through this digital learning with the help of animations and audio-visual effects. Plus, the student can record the lecture and for future reference. Now, what will be the situation in India post-COVID? Now, when we say post-COVID, according to me, it is going to take around 2 or 3 years to come out of COVID. So, unplanned, it is a global pandemic. And it has resulted in shutdown of all educational institutions. So, it provides an opportunity for India to strengthen the internet connectivity across the rural area for better interactions between student and the teachers. Post-COVID-19 is an opportunity to transform our higher education system, curriculum designs, skill development, faculty involvement, and trainings. For this post-COVID, even we have now adopted online mode of teaching, and UGC also approved around 200 universities to conduct up to 40% of the courses online. Even the examinations, they have they have given to conduct online to reduce the timing from 3 hours to 2 hours. So all these are the suggestions given for post-COVID situations. Now coming to traditional versus digital learning. When we say traditional versus digital learning, in traditional learning, we can say it is an offline class.
Madam, you can.
Classroom interaction.
Sorry for interruption. Already 3 minutes is over. You can conclude within 1 minute.
Okay, sir. Thank you. So this traditional learning is just a classroom interaction, whereas digital learning, when we say it is adaptive learning, which is going to give a benefit for us in near future. It will have a very good impact on commerce and management also, because a commerce and a management is mainly deal with the business. So if we have the knowledge of computer-based technologies, it will enhance our skill. Owing to this only, I think OU has invested GST subject for final years, which helps them to develop computer knowledge, including Tally, which is in very much trend. Now, there is a case study also on Baidu classes, which is a Bangalore-based organization. They said after this lockdown,
You please conclude.
their subscriber have increased
Time is up.
around 150%. So, just last 1 minute, sir. So, just I want to say that digital learning will lead India to digital
Thank you. Thank you, madam.
literacy.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, madam, for sharing your views. Nikita Shekhar has expressed the positive sides of digital learning, such as the students and teachers need not travel, which can save the time in one way. This pandemic has provided us an opportunity to transform the teachers and students to adopt to the forced change. Still, the online teaching cannot replace the traditional learning, it can only supplement. Now we move on to the third participant, Devaki and Gerald Anthony. They will present a paper on the topic entitled Attitude of Teacher Educators Towards Online Teaching and Learning Education Program. I invite Gerald Anthony and Dr. Devika to present the paper. Gerald is presenting the paper.
Yeah, you can start now with the restriction of 3 minutes. Start. Jaroli Deepa, start, sir. You can start now.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, please. Speak out. So you are wasting time.
Now maybe because of the technical glitches, the participant could not present the paper. Now we move on to the next participant, Seema Sadiq on the top. Okay, so we move on to the next participant, Dr. Kankipati Srinivasa Rao on the topic entitled Classroom to Online Teaching, Learning, Some Issues and Challenges, a Study. I invite Dr. Kankipati Srinivasa Rao to present his paper.
Kannappa sir. Thank you, Professor Shekhar sir, for giving me the opportunity to present the paper. Now, I would like to share the screen, my PPTs.
You can.
I hope all of you can view it. I hope I am audible to everybody.
Yeah, it's clear. You can.
Now, so good afternoon, all of you. My paper is on classroom to online teaching learning, some issues and challenges in study. A small study has been conducted during the lockdown period from Vivekvardhini College. A small study only, and posed only 5 questions to the faculty, to the students. Now I will come on to the concept. Online teaching and learning is transformation from classroom teaching. Digitalization in education. Learning seems to be replacement of the conventional methods. In this regard, I already told you I have conducted a small study. The following objectives. The first objective is to know the perceptions, faculty, students on offline and online teaching learning. Second objective, analyze the difficulties encountered by the faculty and students on online teaching and learning. The methodology has adopted for this. Online classes were conducted in Vivekvardhini College. A questionnaire in Google form has been circulated among the available students and faculty. A total of 146 respondents comprising 78 students of Vivekvardhini College and 68 faculties from various colleges, including Vivekvardhini College, where online classes were conducted. For the data analysis, simple pie charts and bar graphs are used. So kindly look into it. Results and findings. As I told you, only 5 questions are posed to the faculty and students because of lack of time. Now the first question, your experiences online teaching to the faculty. When I posed that question, the components are given first of its kind, had previous experiences, conduct online classes on regular basis, conducted whenever convenient. These are the components and choice options are given. Out of this, 39 out of 68, that is 57.4, faculty felt that it was first of its kind for their teaching. And 29 out of 68, 42.6, expressed they had previous experience, and some other says that regular basis they are using, and as per the convenience, some faculty says that they are using the class, they are taking classes online as per the convenience. Now come to the students. There are 78 responses. Out of that, 49 students say online teaching is not effective. Only 29, that is 37.2, says that it is effective. So here the complaints are yes is blue, red is no. The finding is other options of the faculty and students are also present in a significant number. Now come to the other chart. Opinion and mode of teaching. The same question is posed to both the teaching and faculty and students. So out of 78, 40 students, classroom teaching is convenient for them. 38 out of 78 agreed for blended teaching is convenient. So the finding is faculty preferred online teaching, students preferred classroom. But notable thing is, but a significant number of students also preferred blended. Now come to the next one. chart 5. The question is posed to both the faculty and students.
Time is up, sir.
Which video application? Video application, Zoom. Majority of the faculty and students felt that
శ్రీనివాసరావు గారు కంక్లూడ్
during the
చేయండి.
lockdown,
ప్లీజ్ కంక్లూడ్.
during the lockdown, they used Zoom app. And here, overall experience on online teaching. So overall experience online teaching, 60 out of 68 faculty felt overall experience. Online teaching is good, very good, excellent. And students also, overall experience, 61 students out of 78. Good, very good, average and excellent put together. Satisfied. Finding is overall experiences of the faculty and students, online teaching learning, seems to be significantly positive. Very important now, this is difficulties. So under the difficulty, majority of the faculty felt that lack of connectivity is a major difficulty.
థ్యాంక్ యూ శ్రీనివాస్ గారు. థ్యాంక్ యూ అండి.
And students also felt the same thing. Please, sir, 1 minute, just I go to the last slide. Suggestions, a permanent technical support may be established in every educational institution to attend connectivity and technical programs faculty and students. Second, technical infrastructure might be supported by government and UGC. Blended learning could be introduced for better overall results. Next, a special education app, which is very, very important, only for educational institutions. Ensure privacy and cyber security. Training programs, workshops are to be conducted in frequent manner so that online classes can be effective. Conclusion. Overall perception is that it's a positive side from faculty and students towards blended learning.
థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్. థ్యాంక్ యూ.
This is classroom with technology. Last one
Thank you.
scope for the further research. The wide range study may be conducted in jurisdiction of all private and state universities
Yeah.
in Telangana state.
Right.
Online teaching and learning. So I should take a positive decision on that.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Mr. Chanapra sir and Shekhar sir, another great place. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your research observations with all of us. It is true that majority of the teachers and students have shifted to online teaching for the first time because of this crisis. We are happy to learn from you that students are happy with learning on online platform. Now we move on to the next participant, Syed Ali Zuhair. Syed Ali Zuhair on the topic entitled E-learning and ICT tools. Is she there? Syed Ali Zuhair, is he there? Syed Ali Zuhair. Okay, we move on to the next participant, Dr. D. Thirumal Rao, on the topic entitled Common Misperceptions on Online Teaching or Learning. I invite Dr. Thirumal Rao to give his presentation. Common misperceptions on online teaching or learning.
Yeah, Thirumalrao garu, you can start. Yeah, you can start now. 3 minutes time.
Good morning to one and all. My study is on common misconceptions, misperceptions on online teaching learning. Technology, conventional teaching is most common and popular, and this online teaching is not a new phenomena for us. And any technology, any kind of new invention or discovery will have lot of misconceptions or misperceptions in the beginning. We have seen an example of our computers or information technology many years back. Many have opposed this. But today we are not able to live without technology. Many international schools and affordable corporate colleges have implemented already online teaching. Now, taking into consideration this review of literature on perceptions of researchers, towards online teaching learning and the importance, taking this phenomena into consideration, my study is based on misperceptions on digital learning to fill up the research gap and also as a part of other side of the coin. Many of us among us have misperceptions about online teaching. Taking into consideration this research gap, the objective of the study is to analyze the misperception of teachers, students, and others towards digital learning and to study the significance of online teaching learning in the present scenario. My research methodology includes collection of data, both primary and secondary. Primary is through Google Forms, a questionnaire is posted to the respondents. 86 respondents have given their view, both teachers and students. And my sample method is convenience sample I adopted. And the findings are only 42% of the respondents supported online teaching, and their misperceptions are it is very difficult to go with online teaching continuously, and too many apps are confusing on the part of teachers and the students to which one we have to use, and no proper gadgets at home. And there is a misperception that everyone requires good computer skills and knowledge about technology, both hardware and software. And in rural areas, it is not successful. And also, internet is already providing 24/7 data. There is no new thing to be taught in online teaching. These are the misconceptions teachers and students are having. The conclusion on the subject, on the study is only computer basic skills are required. Government should take an initiative in rural areas to encourage online teaching. One common app should be made available to all, and the technology should be properly utilized by the teachers and students, and no academic year should be wasted in the scenario of pandemic. And also, the syllabus completion, at least 50% of the syllabus should be complete to online teaching.
Sir, you can conclude with findings. You can conclude, sir.
Yeah, actually the conclusion part is done, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Syed Dr. D. Thirumal Rao, for your observations, for your opinion. Yes, it is true. Online teaching, though it is not new, but this pandemic has forced all of us to shift to online teaching and try for different apps, which are again creating confusion among the teachers in choosing the best one. Now we move on to the next presenter. Acha. I request Mrs. V. Shanti to give her presentation on an unprecedented setback in global history. I request Madam to take only 2 minutes to speak on the main points.
Yes, yeah, ma'am. Am I audible, ma'am?
Yeah, it's clear.
Sir, Indrakant Shekhar, sir, a very good morning. Chinnappa, sir, a very good morning.
Yeah.
I'm Shanti Vedula from Andhra Mahila Sabha.
Yeah, you can start, madam. Time is very less.
Yes, sir. My paper titled Unprecedented Setback in Global History. Actually, I have concentrated not only on education, but I have taken like China's coronavirus impact on Indian industry very badly on imports and exports. Coming to why the slowdown in demand and supply is there. Coronavirus has disrupted the demand and the supply chain across the country. With this disruption, it can be seen that the tourism, hospitality and aviation sectors are the most worst affected sectors that are facing the maximum impact on the current coronavirus. Closing to cinema theatres, declining of football and shopping complexes has affected the retail sector by impacting the consumption of both essential and retail sectors discretionary items. consumption slowdown in the rate of any product or service directly leads to its effect on the workforce. So in this situation, current situation, with all the retailers closing down their services, the jobs of the employees are at huge risk. So the financial market has experienced uncertainty about the future cohorts and repercussions of COVID-19. An estimated rupees 10 lakh crore market cap was reportedly wiped off due to the fall of Sensex in the second week of March 20. So taking into consideration, certain activities I have drawn like auto industry, pharmaceutical industry, chemical industry, textile, solar power sector, electronics, IT, and tourism aviation. These are the worst hit sectors. So I just conclude my paper, not going too lengthy, that the supply of primary food items through fair price shops are highly demanded, and for closure of schools, colleges, government offices, while ensuring for essential services and enhance the capacity for remote learning, because we have to take into consideration the student security, then goes with the essentials of learning. Further, the government should make necessary arrangements for reduction in the prices and unemployment means prices. So it should make necessary arrangements for reduction in the prices and uninterrupted supply of hand sanitizers and preventive measures. Identify, together with industry, major sectors affected by links to global supply chains, particularly telecom and pharma, and help build alternate opinions which will support to relevant sectors. Once again, I thank the Department of Commerce, Osmania University, for organizing this excellent and most secured paper presentations, and kudos to Commerce Department, Osmania University. Thank you for giving me this opportunity, sir.
Yeah, thank you, madam. This session is going to end this WebEx meeting. Again, it will restart. All the participants requested to continue with the same link. Thank you.
Yes, madam. It's true, not just the...
I request Dr. Patrick, please come out to the dais. For remaining session should be continued. And I request Patrick sir, say some message for the webinar.
Thank you so much to Shekhar sir and to Chennappa sir and ma'am here on the dais there, Sandhya ma'am, Dr. Sandhya. Thank you very much for the opportunity that is given to me. It's a fabulous work that is done on behalf of Commerce Department here. I do understand that most of our teachers were taken for a rude shock. Not many were prepared. No one has anticipated the pandemic, and we had to get ourselves accustomed or acclimatized to this online teaching. Everybody's grappling. We are going through a change kind of a thing. The other day I've seen a kind of a picture which shares as to how people used to bunk in the class, sit in the library, or get away from the classroom or jump walls. But today you have a new style of bunking classes where you can mute your video and your audio and can bunk classes that way there. So people have become very tech savvy around, and there's a lot of learning to be done in future. There's a lot of these things that are coming in. Probably we have UGC and HRD also coming in saying that it's going to be the new norm, that we got to be prepared for any eventuality in future. So 75% of the teaching got to be through the offline or the regular or the normal mode, and 25% the online mode that we have. So it's nice that we get prepared, and I only wish the teachers get themselves acquainted. I don't know if you're acquainted with a number of teaching methods. People are talking about blended learning, flipped teaching, and a lot of other methods that are there. It's got its own pros and cons, but whatever it is, the future says all about the aspects of online teaching is here to stay, and it would continue, and we get to get ourselves adjusted to it. And it's like, I still remember when PowerPoint presentations were there, the teacher said, if that is doing everything, what is my role in the classroom? And today I would go about with saying that the same is the case whether you use a Google Meet or you use Cisco WebEx or Zoom. There are a lot of those things which are coming in, and you got to get yourself into that mode of change. It is difficult, but not impossible there. And the role of a teacher also is changing. Probably in the past, you were considered to be as a repository of knowledge, but today you have to go about developing content. You got to teach it module by module. You'll have to get yourself acquainted with working out with Google Forms, setting up quizzes, and probably having your own Google Classrooms and other things there. Physical classrooms do exist, but it will always supplement whatever you're trying to speak it in the offline mode through the online mode there. So anything else that's there? Only one request I have. I've seen AMS faculty doing the paper presentation there. I would tell that, when you come for paper presentation, the three things that you need to bear in mind. One is tell what you're going to tell what you have told, right? So the thing is, keep it crisp. And I always look for, when you're a writer or a speaker, following the pattern which was given by Socrates, where he says about ethos, pathos, and logos. So first thing what counts is the credibility of the speaker, your logic and how you're trying to interpret things, and it is to do with how do you have the emotional connect. Today, with online sources, it's very difficult to get that emotional connect with the audience, but if you can establish, nothing like this. Thank you very much.
The remaining session will be continued.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your valuable observations. Patrick, sir, is a senior assistant professor at Department of Commerce and also is a joint director at Directorate of Admissions, Osmania University. And he is a very resourceful person. He is a resource person to many institutions and universities. Thank you, sir, for gracing the occasion, for your valuable presence. Now we move on to the next presentation by Dr. Prasanna Khadkekar. On the topic entitled Online Education Anytime, Anywhere. I invite Dr. Prasanna Khadkekar to give her presentation.
Thank you. Are you listening to my voice, madam?
Yeah, it's clear. Within 3 minutes, you can present.
Yeah, thank you, Shekhar sir, Patrick sir, and all of you. And I remember Professor Jain Joshi sir in this particular occasion. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. My paper is focused on importance of online education, teaching and learning by using ICT tools and online teaching and learning. Sir, I want to concentrate more on particularly teaching in online, various tools and various challenges which are there. And in the COVID situation, and in this, needs to stay busy and have a positive attitude. And online education in India is rapid progress, making it more difficult subjects in the education domain. And online education has brought a revolution in the way of education, which is advanced. And very important thing in this, what he has given is that around 1,55,000 students of the country total are there, and out of total 1.2 million students worldwide, 32% are 32% are from US, while 15% are from India. Yeah. So students have now access to best courses from all around the world, the schools in the domain. So a number of universities are offering online education world class instructors and professors to the students. Courses like MBA, MSc, MBA, Honor, can be taken online importance. So, as to every debate, both supporting and denying supporting exist in this regard. So, one opinion states that online education is progressing and cannot be substituted to a classroom learning, while other one supports the accept the benefits of online education. So, second opinion intends outlooks toward traditional education learning. Now, what are the digital initiatives which are taken by the government? The Pathshala, Swayam, NME, ICT, Nepal, Swayam Prabha, and this all these things are coming in there.
Now, I will give you some only 3 to 4 points on important of online education. One is, it will create an interactive environment. And number two, it will give employment opportunities to the skillful trainers and teachers can expand their reach, and students can receive their education by top-notch professors and instructors in the world. Then online education provides update the skills set while working simultaneously. This is one more very important. Then participants, wherever they are living, then filter any time for the study is basically of internet connection. Then very important thing, the instructors mode is changing from stage to stage, a guide on the side. Then another important thing, online teaching to examine student work more thoroughly, ability to document and record online interactions, ability to manage grading online. Then online teaching helps to listen, learn on limited campus infrastructure, decrease concentration in campus and parking lot. So these are the modern ICT tools which are given. And there are various ICT tools used in teaching, such as the Google Classroom, Moodle, used in teaching learning process. Now I have given here this new technology graph image, that is cloud computing technology, what you can say.
Yeah, Dr. Prasanna, please conclude. Please conclude, sir. Time is up.
Yeah, I'm going to that one. No, so faculty members need to do course design, campus course, meet once or twice per week, online courses 24 hours a day. So it is a challenging. The infrastructure must be developed by the university and the institution. And the conclusion I am taking here, with the advent of era of digital education, teaching methods changing, blended learning method must be applied in the classroom, and the development of infrastructure in information technology is need of the hour, as the student needs education anytime, anywhere. Most of the students working in daytime and they need better so that they can read anytime, anywhere.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise. Students and teachers can make use of the various digital platforms. Even I personally have used digital initiatives which are taken up by the Government of India, such as e-Patishala, Swayam, spoken tutorials, and the National Digital Library. Teachers can make use of the various modern ICT tools which can make our lives easy. All these digital platforms can make our lives easy to some extent, though they are not total replacement to traditional teaching. Now we move on to the next participant. Ms. Mridula Puranam on the topic entitled Digital Learning and Indian Perspective. I invite Mridula Puranam.
I'd like to share my
Yeah, please start within 3 minutes. You can present.
I'd like to start away with key points that I have noticed.
You can switch on your video, Mridula. Now it's good, Amma. You can start.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, one and all. I'm M.Com finalist. I would like to thank my professor. And at the outset, the following are the key points I would like to highlight. My that have been presented.
CD finally tax చెప్తున్నావు.
Okay, the first thing that actually campus, the digital literacy in India, that is the digital literacy and the digital divide, and the key challenges that are being faced. the Indian perspective, delayed infrastructure development, bandwidth availability, personal computer penetration, and it is costly for common man in the technological accelerators. As much as we can see that 60% of the population is under the poverty, it is not for everyone to afford a mobile and a computer to afford the e-learning. However, we can also see government's initiative in the National Optic Fiber Network Plan as a part of the Bharat Broadband Network, which is rolled out and is yet to complete its mission. And further things is that technological obsoleteness is the present issue, getting upgraded with the relevant software and the hardware, and it makes it out of the reach for many people. And coming to the last part, like following suggestions in order to overcome these things. That is, a national literacy to monitor the national divide across the states and the cities, recognizing the multidimensional literacy and prioritizing based approach, aligning with sectoral approach, and bridging the digital divide. And I would like to conclude schools and colleges should start digital learning as a part of their curriculum, enable the students to utilize the benefits of it. The formative assessments should be online assessments in higher transparency rate assessments motivates the students to take up online examinations. The public-private partnership to the speeds help the country to spearhead training the teachers, lecturers, and professors in online teaching and creating digital content, and creation of modules and student assessments for evaluation. I would like to hereby conclude quotation from the Malcolm X, that is, the future belongs to those who prepare for it today. This quotation is very much apt to all the ages. The future is already shaped with the digital highway. The learning to make best use of the technology and to prepare for the future.
Thank you.
The government success.
Thank you, Ma. Time is up.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Ma.
Digital infrastructure plays a key role in digital learning. We all accept to that. Now we move on to the next presenter, Gerald Anthony, on the topic entitled Attitude of Teacher Educators Towards Online Teaching and Learning Education Program. I invite Gerald, Mr. Gerald, to give his presentation.
Mr. Gerald, yeah, you can start now. You can switch on your video.
Any other name?
Okay, for some technical glitches, probably Gerald is not able to present. Now we move on to Seema Sadiq. I request Seema Sadiq to give her presentation on role of ICT in teaching and learning. Seema Sadiq. Acha, this is Afsan Zabeen. Not there? Yeah, I request you to give your presentation.
Ma, you can switch on your video and audio. You can speak out.
A very good afternoon to one and all.
You can start, Amma.
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, it's clear. Now it's clear.
All right. I would just like to share my paper.
Yeah, go ahead.
Come on, speak out.
PPT, would you are looking?
Would you like to share your PPT?
No, sir.
Come on, speak out. Time is very less.
So my paper is on digital learning,
Good.
impediments and learning enhancement programs during COVID-19 pandemic. So the main objectives of the paper goes like this. To examine the real-time impediments faced by UG and PG educators and students using ICT. Then the second objective of the paper is to highlight the learning enhancement programs taken by educators and students to enhance their learning. Then the third objective of the study is to discuss findings on digital learning impediments and learning enhancement program. Now, the next is research gap. There have been many studies presented by research and scholars on digital learning considering varied aspects on education and learning system. But this study fills the gap, exploring on how digital learning created a paradigm shift in the education system during COVID-19. So the research question is, how digital learning can be effective in the academic performance of students? And the second research question is, what are the real-time challenges faced by educators in the effective integration of ICT? The study was exploratory in nature. Moving on to the impediments faced by educators and students using ICT. Moreover, it is the same impediments that the other presenters have presented. The first one is insufficient technology devices. And the second impediment is unreliable bandwidth. The third is limits on participants and time, difficulty in managing students with varied cognitive learning style. I would like to just explain a bit this impediment because educators could find challenging to manage to create an effective inclusive online learning for those students with varied cognitive learning. For students with impairments of varied cognitive learning style, digital learning does provide ease in attending online classes with no commuting to college or university. But it has to be considered that it does not provide social interaction where it can cause social isolation and lack of self-motivation. Then the next impediment is it can cause health problems, limited interaction in webinars due to technical difficulties. And the last challenge that educators and students are facing is failure in the assessment of student progress. Moving on to the learning enhancement programs. There are many learning enhancement programs that are initiated by government as well as the universities and the colleges has taken up the initiative. Few government digital learning enhancement programs are Swayam Prabha, eShodh Sindhu and eKalpa and so on. And on the other hand, many education institutions are organizing certificate programs such as quiz and webinar for population of learners. So I would conclude that stating that There must be training workshops on virtual teaching and learning to facilitate the population of learners. There are many ICT professionals known from universities and government where workshops can be organized. The government can design a proper infrastructure and providing free Wi-Fi would help especially to students in remote areas. Now, as learning has been the only way to teach and learn during COVID-19
Conclude,
pandemic,
Amma.
there may be positive progress
Afshan, conclude.
in the academic. Yes, I am concluding, sir. That as digital learning has been the only way to teach and learn during COVID-19 pandemic, there may be positive progress in the academic performance of students. So all in all, digital learning should be incorporated, not replaced. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, good. Amma. So we are expecting your full paper should send to the mail again. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Thank you, madam, for sharing your observations. Though the teachers and students are adopting online teaching, but we all are facing various difficulties and challenges. And also maybe, as you said, certain health issues also may be faced even in near future. Now we move on to the last presentation by Mrs. Razia Sultana and Mrs. Neha Tank on the topic entitled E-Learning in Higher Education during the pandemic of COVID-19 in Hyderabad. I invite Mrs. Razia and Mrs. Neha to give her presentation. They're not there? Okay, so it seems they're not there. So, okay, no problem. So we have come almost to the end of this webinar. More than 60 papers were received. More than 60 papers were received for this webinar. We have shortlisted and selected 14 papers for presentation, of which 10 papers have been presented. My heartfelt thanks to our department and its staff. Special thanks to Professor D. Chennappa along with Dr. I. Shekhar and others for looking into the minute details of this webinar. I request our Vice Principal of the college, Dr. Vidyasagar Rao, to speak a few words on this occasion.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. I am Dr. Vidyasagar Rao. I am here in the capacity of Vice Principal of the college. As you are all aware, that Department of Commerce is very well known for conducting seminars, and I think it's going to be the same case even now conducting the webinar. It's only a beginning of the series, I believe. I congratulate the Department of Commerce for taking that initiative of conducting this webinar, and all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Vidyasagar. So now, my position to give the vote of thanks. So this webinar is initiated by the Professor D. Chennappa, who is the person dealing all the background of this seminar. And also he is initiated many things with a digital camera, and also it was sent all the information to throughout the India, and many people who are from Guwahati, somebody from Nagaland, and somebody from Delhi, and most of the people from Hyderabad, they are all actively participated in the list. It was attendance also is taken over. And we will send all these participants, we'll send a certificate, digital certificate to you through your email. So, sir, thank you for participating, all the paper presenters and also registered candidates. And I'm also thanking for Dean, Faculty of Commerce, Professor V. Apparao Garu, and also HOD, Professor T. Krishna Kumar sir, and Professor Prashant Atma, who is the previous head of the department, Commerce Department. And also very much thankful for today's speaker and the chief guest, Professor Venkatramana. He is from Higher Education Council, Telangana State. And we are also thankful for the Registrar, Usmania University, Professor Gopal Reddy Garu. And also we thankful for all the non-teaching staff and commerce faculty members who are presented here. And also some people, they are sharing their views for this webinar, particularly Professor H. Venkateshwarlu, retired professor of the department, and also my colleagues, Gaddam Naresh Reddy, and also Dr. A. Patrick, and also Sandhya. So thank you very much, madam. Thank you very much, one and all, for successful of this seminar. Thank you, one and all.
Seminar. Thank you very much. With these few remarks and proceedings, we are going to close this webinar, and we hope so that many more webinars will come from the Department of Commerce as well as from to the management. Thank you. Have a nice day to all. Thank you all. Yeah, we are ending the meeting. Yeah.